Hello everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Let's Play Dark Souls. Now, before we begin, I'm going to start off with this little preface, if you will. I didn't have good luck recording the audio for this episode originally while I was playing it, so this is all post-gameplay commentary. The file got corrupted or something because it turned out to be really awful. And I suppose that could have just been me messing up the settings originally, but hey, whatever. So here we are at this little area past Andre the blacksmith, and there's this huge beast that we're going to be fighting here, and he's called a Titanite demon. And the attacks that I'm doing really don't hurt him at all. His defense stat must be through the roof. And that's not uncommon for these things anyway. Even later on in the game, their defense is still incredibly high. But here, it's especially noticeable. I decided to go through without wearing any armor. Just my own personal choice. It really doesn't matter if you wear armor or not. You're less agile, of course, but since you can block all of his attacks, it's really not a big deal. So it's just going to be a lot of hitting him over and over and over and over again until he goes down. Now, I decided that this episode would be nothing but doing a cool boss fight that's a little bit past this area. So, as a result of that, the episode is actually quite short compared to what I usually try to do. But that's okay, nothing wrong with that, because the episode after this will be showing another boss fight, and it's going to be quite a bit longer just because I have to show the areas leading up to the fight. And it's a decent stretch, I guess. And yeah, you got a good hit on me there. That jumping attack, if he jumps at you, he's going to try to do that attack. And I've blocked it. I blocked it once earlier in the fight, but I didn't block it there. Most of the time I don't block it. Yeah, there I blocked it again. Sometimes you block it, sometimes you don't. I really don't know what causes you to block it and what causes you to fail. I have no idea. But mainly you just try to strafe around to his backside, either on his left or his right. Either way, it doesn't matter. And you just got to keep trying to do that. And that's really the only good way to fight him. I guess if you have spells, that's a good way to fight him because you can keep your distance. But it's also dangerous because by keeping your distance from him, it encourages him to shoot lightning bolts at you. And I think a few times during this fight, he actually did that to me. Maybe later. I thought it was going to be right there. But yeah, if you get hurt, just back away and heal. If there's a lot of debris in the environment, if you get behind a big piece of debris, you're safe to heal, even if he casts a lightning bolt thing at you. Because it'll just hit the debris and you're totally safe. I think right here. Yep, he's charging his lightning bolts here. Okay, there we go. So I just got down here to these stairs because he's above me, so the stairs are going to block the lightning bolt. He goes down pretty easily, all things considered. It just takes a lot of time. As long as you pay attention to your health and you heal after he takes a good chunk out of you, you're good to go. You're pretty safe. There we go. And every time you kill one of these guys, they'll drop one piece of Demon Titanite. If you're lucky, sometimes they'll drop two. I've seen it happen a couple of times. So through here, you just keep going past him, and we're in this cool wooded area with some natural lighting from these flowers. I don't know what they're called, but natural lighting from them. And we'll come across these new enemies here. I don't know what they're called. But, yeah, you just keep slashing away at them with your sword. You're just cutting them down. And there is a little secret path to the right here, but we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it just yet. That'll be later on. But this is the Darkroot Garden. And we're just going to keep cutting these guys. Now, before we fight the boss, I'm going to show how to find a cool ring. And we're going to equip it for the boss. And the ring is, it can be very useful depending on what you're trying to do with your build. I usually don't use it very often, but it can be useful if you're trying to go light armor, especially. It can be a very useful item for you. But since I usually go heavy armor, it doesn't do much for me. Yeah, there we go. I knew he was going to pop up, so I tried to attack him in the ground, and I just said, screw it, I'll just make him pop up, whatever. So up ahead, there's going to be a consumable soul on the ground, if I remember right. Yep. Alright. Now up ahead, there's going to be a locked door, and we'll see it to the right. Yep, that little glowing symbol on the door is locking it in place right now. But there's a wall right here that if you attack it or roll through it, it'll disappear. This is the first time that we've come across it while playing Dark Souls in this playthrough, but I guess they're fairly uncommon, but you learn how to spot them eventually. And if you've played the game one time through or a few times through, you'll pretty much know where all of them are anyway. And here's a little ambush area. If you pick up the item there, and I think it's just a consumable soul. I could be wrong, but if you pick it up, 3 of those plant guys are going to pop up and attack you out of the ground, and they'll then do that automatically from that point on. Once you just, even if you're passing by the area, they'll just pop up and come after you. So I generally don't pick that item up until I know I'm never going to return to this spot in the game. And that tree is blocking the path. Honestly, my first time playing the game, I didn't even notice that tree. So I didn't even pick this ring up my first time through. It was only after I finished the game and I was watching playthroughs of other people that I realized that I totally missed that. And they don't attack you. You don't have to worry about it. Just hack away at them until they go down. I can't remember who it was, but somebody looked at unused models on the disc, and there's an unused model for those trees that makes it seem like they may have originally been meant to attack the player. So up ahead, there's this cool pathway, and there's going to be a new enemy on top of the pathway here before we get to the cool ring that I wanted to pick up. And these guys really aren't that dangerous. They only do one thing that could really hurt you a lot. They're these huge stone giants. And, yeah, there he goes. He's going to use this spell on me, and you see the ring circling my character. And all that does is slow you down. You move at a snail's pace once that's on you. So if you're using a character that is meant to have light armor and do a lot of dodging instead of blocking attacks, you're screwed against these guys if they cast that on you, because you can no longer dodge them. So we're going to pick up the wolf ring. I'll equip it in a little bit, I think. But first I'm going to jump down. Yep. And we're going to head back to the bonfire. But the ring is very cool. And some of the items in the game put this effect on your character, this little particle effect thing. And I don't like that. I just don't like the way that it looks. I would much rather just have the little symbol by my stamina meter for what it does instead of doing the effect on my character. But hey, whatever. So once we heal here at the bonfire, I'll show you. I think I brought up a window here to show the stat comparison here. So we're going to remove that, and we're going to go down to the wolf ring. And I'm going to switch the window. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, the poise has quite a bit of difference between not wearing the ring and wearing the ring. That's a huge difference. And if you're wearing light armor or almost no armor like me, that's very useful. If you're wearing a lot of armor, you're going to have a lot of poise anyway, so it's not as useful in that situation. Now there's a little pathway up here to the left that has a weapon, but I know from experience that once you go up there and you pick up the weapon, this guy pops out of the ground. So I attacked him preemptively just because I don't want to deal with that after I pick up the weapon. I think it's the partisan? Yeah, I think it's the partisan. I could be wrong. And there's also this guy on the tree, this little twin-headed snake guy. I don't know what to call him. And he also dropped the egg vermifuge. Now, I thought that I could heal the poisoning that he gave me, but I cannot. I do not have the right kind of moss that heals poison. So I'm gonna have to trek all the way back to the bonfire now to fix that. The plant guys here in this area, they drop the red moss, the purple moss, and every now and then they will drop what's called blooming purple moss. And blooming purple moss is used for toxin. So that'll come in handy later on when we go to an area of the game called Blight Town. The odds of getting toxic inflicted on you in Blight Town is extremely high. So generally you come back to this area beforehand and you farm a lot of blooming purple moss. Or there's also a merchant that you can buy them from. I'll probably show that merchant in the next video, actually, now that I think about it. So just keep going along the left side here. There's another one of those twin-headed snake guys on the left on the tree. You can ignore it, there's nothing there. And we're just going to fight this big stone giant again. And yeah, he's just going to use the spell on me. This guy actually attacks me quite a bit too and gets some good hits on me. I think there's one point in here that he almost totally broke my defense. Yeah, right there. And I quick hit the shield button again, and once again just totally broke my defense. It's no big deal. Just keep circling him like you would any other enemy and attack him as you can. So right here, there's a little secret. If you are human and you roll back here, there's a summon symbol for Witch Beatrice. And Witch Beatrice makes this boss fight an absolute walk in the park. The boss also does a lot of magic attacks, so I decided to check my shields, and whichever shield prevented the most magic damage was the one that I was going to equip for this fight. And it ended up being the wooden shield, I think, right at the very top. Yeah, it does 40. Yeah, it's definitely the wooden shield. So that's the one I ended up equipping for this fight. You won't have to run into that sort of thing very often where you compare the stats of your shields. It's in this one particular instance that it's a wise idea to do so. There are shields that I could have had by this point that would have done a better job, but I just didn't pick them up. I didn't go through those areas and get them. So here's the boss. It's just this cool little butterfly. And without Witch Beatrice, this fight would just take a lot of time. It wouldn't be more difficult. It would just take a lot more time. Main reason being is that the butterfly shoots a lot of magic at you, and it's all long range. And most people, when they play, are not equipped for doing long range combat. So you just do a lot of dodging, and hopefully not getting hit. And you just wait for the butterfly to come down near you to attack it. But having Witch Beatrice makes this go by 10 times faster than it normally would, because she does a ton of damage if her attacks hit it. So here he comes in for a landing. He'll do this periodically. And at that point you just dual wield your weapon, or you two-hand your weapon, sorry. And you run in and you just beat the living shit out of him. And so for beating him, we're going to get the soul of the butterfly. And we're going to get a humanity and a bunch of souls, and that's it. That's the entire fight. It's no big deal. It's on my list of easiest boss fights in the entire game. It might be the easiest, actually. I haven't decided between that and Pinwheel. There's a boss called Pinwheel that we're not going to fight until much later in the series, but I think he's definitely one of the top 2 easiest boss fights in the entire game. So we're going to come up here and we're going to pick up this stuff. And I don't know if that's just a statue of a blacksmith, or if that's a petrified blacksmith or a cursed blacksmith. I don't know what that is. But it's where we can pick up a bunch of this stuff. And I just decided to homeward bone back to the last bonfire that I used. And from there we're going to go back to Andre, because we picked up a divine ember, and we're going to give that to Andre. And now Andre can do more things for us. Oh, and switch the shield back to the original shield. But yeah, if you come into this area for the first time and you're nervous, don't be all that nervous. This isn't a big deal. It'll be a big deal in a different part of Darkroot, but for this beginning opening bit of it, just the garden, it's not that difficult, not a big deal. aesthetically, the way that the area looks, this is one of my favorite areas in the game. I love I love how well some of the plants look, where some of the plants in the environment, like the trees, how moss covered they are, the way that the branches are really crooked and jagged. I really like that, and just how dark it is. It gives you this great sense of foreboding, even though up above we were just in a huge area of sunlight. It's just a great what's the word? It's just a great contrasting area to what we previously were in. And as you can see, the Titanite Demon does not respawn. There is only one Titanite Demon in the entire game that does respawn, and that's way later again. So we're going to go to Andre here. We're going to give him the Divine Ember.
Well, thanks for that.
And now he could make divine weapons for us if we wanted him to. We will need a divine weapon later on to get through an area, but for right now we're good. We don't need it. And just repair equipment.
Get yourself.
I didn't know how weak any of it was, so I figured, hey, repairing it, not a big deal. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for this video. Next video, we're gonna do another boss fight, show another cool area. But for right now, I think we're good. Thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. Don't forget to like this video, favorite this video, subscribe, whatever it is that you feel like you want to do with it. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time on Let's Play Dark Souls.